So you got, this is a B3 here? Or what's
it's
or is it a B?
a BC, it's called.
Oh, BC.
But it's the precursor to the B3, and then Adam has put the B3 preamp and tremolo kit in it.
And does this get used a lot?
Yeah.
Looks like it's all,
Or the percussion kit. Sort of.
and this the Leslie here?
Yeah, so
The tubes
it's,
in there. Sorry.
this one's kind of got a couple mods, like it can be off and on, or there's
Okay.
another way you can switch it to make it corral and fast.
Okay.
But this is kind of cool because it's got a big break to it.
Wow.
So you
That's
can
awesome.
like play with cool stuff.
That's
But yeah, this
awesome.
is I think 1938 or something.
Wow. Well, let's, okay, this is some, can we just take a look at what you've got here? Seems like people's collections are getting a lot more. Is this what you were talking about?
Yeah, that's the Rhodes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
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 And then, so Adam,
do you got?
Adam just got that, sort of tweaked that a little bit, got all the tines in tune recently.
Yeah.
And then it's Synth World after that.
Yeah.
So, got a couple Dave Smith instruments, a mono synth, a poly synth, and then the Moog Sub 37.
Cool. And a lot of guys just bring in their own stuff too?
Yeah, a lot of times, and a lot of times it's like, we need this like weird synth note or something. It's like, okay, we could use this or this, and we try it, And there's a Roland we haven't out, but a string synth, which a friend of mine left. He moved to LA, and it's
Where do these generally go into? Like, do you send them into an amp, or do they go right into
Just
a
a
preamp?
DI.
Yeah.
a lot of times DI.
Just DI?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, well, this board we actually purchased from Sam Reed of Glass Tagger.
Oh,
Believe
really?
it or not, yeah. And it's a Sound Workshop console that needs some new lights. We're gonna replace all the bulbs with LEDs soon and just make it a lot cleaner. And because the replacing bulbs in this thing is such a pain in the ass. But it's a great board, and we mainly use it for just monitor mixing and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We were using it a lot for mixing through, and it does sound great. But it's funny, like the recall thing is such a big deal these days.
Sure.
So I was working with a band in Montreal, and they really liked the board mix, and it was like, I'm feeding them mixes, but I couldn't, go to the next song until it was done. Yeah. And it was so hard.
And
it took a while.
Even if you write everything down, there's so much happening here where like, for whatever reason, like sometimes whatever you're feeding the aux might affect what's like. There's just it's a 40-year-old, 45-year-old.
It's a machine, right?
Basically, we've got the Orion, which
okay, that's cool.
I'll open up the control panel.
32. Cool.
Yeah.
And this is Orion's
Matrix.
It's their version is sort of the patch base. So essentially, if you're tracking and you're tracking 20 channels, we usually use external pre's just because they're better than what's in here.
Yeah.
So we track the pre's to the A to D, and then you take all 20 A to D and just send it right out your DAC, and that's before Pro Tools gets it. So you're hearing it back without any latency. Wow. And then if you assign every channel in Pro Tools to its own output, you could essentially just change, just do this on playback, play, and then all your faders are controlling your playback from Pro Tools.
Wow.
So everything in Pro Tools will be at Unity.
I'm interested in this because I saw this online. This is a local piece.
Yes. That's
got that on loan right now.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a loan / I'm gonna probably have to buy it.
Yeah.
Because it's
good?
It's really nice.
Yeah.
It's an LA2A clone that our good friend Tristan Miller built.
Right.
Catherine North Electronics and
Filter in it too.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just looking at this last night on the internet.
We've used it a bunch now.
Yeah, it sounds like the best vocals we've ever tracked.
Really?
Yeah.
The first time we tested it out, actually.
Yeah.
One of the best singers we ever recorded, too.
That's true,
yeah.
Credit where it's due.
Yeah, she was a great singer, and it really just grabbed onto her.
It wasn't me, was it?
No,
okay.
no.
I said
But we
made these knees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
and these ones, actually. These are like his original.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
1272. Okay. So the same thing. So there's like 4 channels.
4 channels of clone
these
need.
ones. So these had a DI, and these ones he got rid of it, but he put a pad, a phase, and a filter.
Oh, cool.
So it's really useful. I'd use these before that any day, just because these actually have original transformers from like 1272 modules.
Oh, okay.
And these are just like reissue
Okay.
Cardinals or whatever.
Yeah.
But just functionality. I mean, being able to flip phase and add a pad if you need it, and the filters are awesome.
I hate talking about how things look because it makes me seem like, I don't know, I don't want to be judged, but honestly, I do like the way like different gear looks.
Yeah.
I'll say it right now.
Yeah.
And I like his 2A based, compared to some other 2As that are out there now. They seem just a little bit more colorful, and that's what I love about the original is it's just this big.
It looks like
white
it's from a
box.
submarine.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that looks really. So, is this a rental right now?
That's a rental. Yeah, it was a Long McQuaid like half price rental day, and they lured me in. And you know what? It's a really amazing EQ. Yeah.
And it's like reasonably priced too. Right?
Yeah, it's about 1,100, I
for
think.
2 channels.
Yeah. And it's an API build.
Yeah.
Right? So it's built by API, and it sounds so
JDK,
smooth.
right?
Yeah. They had to change the name, I think.
Yeah, they used to be like Arsenal Audio or something.
That's right. They were Arsenal Audio, and they got sued by a car stereo manufacturer for the name Arsenal.
Oh, really?
And so they, instead of like going to court, they just changed their name.
Yeah.
Sure. And then we've got the 8-channel Focusrite.
Are you using that for digital too?
No, there's no digital.
There's no digital.
Card in it. That's like another $300 or $400 thing. But it's a funny story. I rented that out of like necessity one morning. I had a remote gig, and the guy I was supposed to rent a bunch of pre's from fell asleep and didn't wake up. And I'm like banging on his house. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, he's not coming out, and these guys are meeting me downtown Toronto in about an hour and a half. And I'm like, screw it. I called Long McQuaid. I'm like, do you got an 8-channel interface? And he's like, we've got this Focusrite pre. So sure enough, I grab it and loved it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like the back's got 8 line ins as well, you know,
4 DIs on the front.
I like my very first, this wasn't too long ago, but my very first kind of like professional pre was the ISA2.
Yeah.
And it was like from anything that just using pre's built into the interface. And it was pretty eye-opening.
Yeah.
Like how nice it sounded. It has a filter on it too. I'm sure that has a filter. Yeah. And I loved it and have different impedance options. And it was really eye-opening, especially I had that 414 too.
Yeah.
Things sounded so clean. And that was when I realized I need to be aiming higher for preamps.
Yeah.
But I swear that like, you know how you're always shuffling gear and selling things to afford that. I just don't plan to get rid of that ISA.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've toyed with that in my mind for like 10 minutes. And then you're like, no, that's the most ridiculous idea you could ever
And there's
have.
a lot of studios that have them.
Yeah.
Like a lot of studios, especially studios like this where there's, racks on racks. It's like there's always somebody's got either the producer pack or they've got this or the 4-channel or the 2.
The Fatso has always been, like close to my heart as it's a tape machine, right? It's got the transformer in it if you want it, but it's been designed with a bunch of different curves to like mimic tape compression. Okay. Right? And then what this guy is rebuild by UBK, Cush Audio. Oh, okay. And he changed a few of like the slopes on the compressors, I believe.
So it's a rebuild or it's his own?
Sorry, it's his own. It's a mod. It's a mod.
Yeah, it's basically the same parts, but he's changed it so instead of being like a tape kind of warm through saturator and a bit of compression, it's like a bunch of different distinct compressors.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So that's why it's got the golden. Did he do the golden faceplate? Oh, okay.
I don't know if he's making them anymore or not, but
I was confused by that.
Yeah, so it's not an Empirical Lab unit anymore. But I know he's been given the blessing by them to do the mods and stuff like that.
Well, he's pretty popular.
That thing I've done some really wacky things with that thing. It because of what it does to the transients. Like there's sort of a warmth knob, but I think that's on the actual original unit. That was sort of the tape speeds.
Oh, okay.
Right, so it gives you sort of like. It lops off all this high end the more you kind of go over to the right hand side of it. But it's great like for squeaky guitars or like sibilant vocals. You just kind of add a little bit of that and it starts removing it for you and you get this nice smooth kind of.
So will you patch that in with another compressor?
Yeah, typically. And sometimes I won't even compress. You can turn the compression off and just use the drive features and kind of like really kind of mess with it a bit.